Hi folks, and welcome back to Math with Captain Rod. I'm making this video here to discuss how you find the domain of a logarithmic function. So we're going to start a discussion by looking at this animal here. Y equals log base 3 of x. And the first thing to do for this discussion, I think, is write this in exponential format. So this is equivalent to 3 to the y equals x. Now, as we study this, here's a very important thing to realize. Think about the values that y could be. Y could be 0. Well, 3 to the 0 is 1. Y could be, just to make another number up, let's say y were 2. 3 squared is 9. Y could be 10. 3 to the 9th is some, I'm just going to put some big number, and it's positive. In all cases here, I keep getting positive values here. You'll notice for 3 to the y. Perhaps y would be negative. Let's look at what happens when we put 3 to the minus 1 in. That's 1 over 3. And in that case, x would be positive 1/3. Look at what happens if I put some number like negative 100 in. 3 to the minus 100. Sorry about the writing there. That's 1 over 3 to the 100th power. And that's getting close to 0. I'll just put approximately 0 here. It's getting really, really close. Some things I want to point out here. There is no value you can put in for y and get a negative number out for x. So this thing right here has to be positive. Also notice that there is no power I can raise 3 to and get a 0 here either. So the domain of this function here is x has to be strictly greater than 0. And this is true of all logarithmic functions. Now, it's not true identically to, let's say, x. It's true of whatever you're taking the log of. So when we take a look at this example, f of x equals log base 5 of x plus 6. If you're going to take the log of something, this something has to be positive. And that makes it pretty easy to write the domain. Whatever x plus 6 is, it has to be strictly greater than 0. Or in other words, x is greater than minus 6. Or in interval notation, minus 6 to plus infinity. Not including the minus 6 because log of 0 is not defined. The logarithmic function has a vertical asymptote there. All right, let's apply the same principles here. Now this one doesn't have a base written. If it's not written, it's assumed to be 10. So this is log base 10 of the quantity 7 minus x. And just like in the previous two examples, whatever you're going to take the log of, in this case 7 minus x, it has to be greater than 0. And if we subtract 7, this is now going to read minus x greater than minus 7, divide by minus 1, and this is going to read x less than 7. Remember that when you divide or multiply by a negative number when you're dealing with inequalities, that always reverses the inequality direction. So here's the domain of this function, or in interval notation, from 7 to infinity, not including the 7, because, again, log of 0 is not defined. So just a short video about how to find the domain of a logarithmic function. And the way you do that, you look at whatever the argument is, if you will. Whatever you're taking the log of, that thing has to be positive. That will typically allow you to write some sort of inequality statement to find the allowable values of x. So hope that this video has helped with how to find domains of logarithmic functions. Have a great day.